Hello and welcome to the Joy at Work podcast. I'm your host, Lucia Knight, and here's this week's question from a listener. And I'll warn you, it sounds so innocent, but it sparked a rant I didn't quite expect.
I've heard you say you're not a fan of informational interviews, especially when it comes to exploring new career paths. Can I ask why?
Informational interviews. Now, if you've read What Colour is Your Parachute, the original version is from the 1970s, you'll know that it popularised the idea of informational interviews as a tool to figure out career moves. And while that book was brilliant for its time, we're now living in a different world with different humans, different demands, and much more complex relationships with work. But still, every few weeks, I hear someone lovingly recommend informational interviews, and every single time it hits a nerve. Not just that's an annoying kind of nerve. I'm talking torch to the Celtic fire fury. So today, I'm leaning into that fury. Today, I'm channeling my inner Bodhisattva. Let's talk about why informational interviews in their traditional, widely recommended form enrage me. Let's start with a definition. An informational interview is a conversation with someone already working in a role, discipline, industry, or company you're curious about. So you can gather insights, build connections, and test if it's a good fit for your own next move. That sounds harmless enough, doesn't it? But even that definition makes me itchy. It's all about you, your questions, your career, your change, your decision making. And what it says, sometimes loudly, sometimes subtly, is this: I don't want to put in too much effort. I'd like you to hand over your lived experience in exchange for, well, nothing at all, really. Ugh, yuck. It's like being with a self-absorbed teenager who wants the keys to your car, your life savings, and your Spotify password, all while giving you an eye roll in return. So let's start there. The first reason I strongly dislike informational interviews is that they are fundamentally selfish. Yeah, I said it. Selfish. Not human-centered, not kind, and certainly not generous. They're based on a transactional mindset. Give me your time, your insight, your knowledge, and I'll disappear into the mist afterwards. Here's the reality for midlife professionals. The ones you're targeting for these interviews, they have no time. If they did have spare time, they'd be gifting it to a delayed project, a daughter's school play they'd missed twice, or a team member who's just lost a parent. Time isn't a free resource. It's precious. It's golden. And asking someone to gift you their golden moments without offering anything in return, that's not just poor career strategizing. It's pure bad manners. In my programs, we do something very different. We practice a philosophy that I call networking like a midlife human. It's got generosity sewn in. And 3 assumptions underpin it. Number 1, everyone is drowning in work, so treat their time like gold. 2, everyone's work is challenging, so offer help, lightness, or relief. 3, everyone has messy human stuff going on in their real life beyond work, so add to the joy, or at very least, have empathy about the pain. You give before you ask. You research before you request. You build a connection before you try to use it. Reason number 2, informational interviews are often a thinly veiled request for a job, an intro, or access to their world. Now, let's be very honest here. A lot of people who request informational interviews aren't just asking for insight. They're asking for a hidden second favor. And it starts with, can I just pick your brain for a few minutes? And ends up with, also, could you introduce me to your boss? And maybe mention me in your next team meeting. Ugh. It's manipulative, it's clumsy, and it's deeply awkward for the person on the other end. especially if they're kind-hearted and hate saying no. You've essentially turned a gift into a grab. And it's not just bad etiquette, it's brand damage. Not just personal brand, your reputation as a human. How you show up everywhere matters. I've had this happen to me, and it feels like being sucker punched by someone you were trying to help. It's that teenager thing again. And I've already got 2 real teenagers in my house. I don't need a third in a midlife body trying to sneak into my network to do more damage. My network is filled with lovely humans who would never do this to me or to anyone else. And I couldn't in good conscience let that happen to them. Reason number 3. Informational interviews are often a distraction from the real work. Here's the big one. Then I'll stop raging. Honestly, I'm normally a very calm Celt. Informational interviews make you feel like you're making progress without actually doing the deep work. You come away feeling busy, like you've achieved something, maybe even clever. You might tell someone about your great conversation with X, Y, or Z. You've had a conversation. You've taken action. But you don't actually know what you want, what your unique offering to the world is, your superpowers in my language, or which problems in the world you truly want to solve. You're still just spinning, distracted, outsourcing your decision-making to other people's stories. And here's the clincher in my argument against informational interviews. You might have wasted someone else's golden time and your own, all because you skipped the hard but meaningful steps of figuring out who you are, what matters to you, and where you truly want to go next. So, am I saying never do informational interviews? No. I'm saying don't do them badly, don't do them early, and definitely don't do them like a lazy teenager with a LinkedIn profile. In my experience, here's when they do work. When you've already identified your superpowers, when you've done the reflective and analytical work to understand the problems you care about solving, when you've contributed to someone else's work by reading, commenting, showing up for them, when you've asked for a warm introduction from someone you already know, like, and respect after explaining exactly how much work you've done already to make the most of those potential golden moments. And when your ask is thoughtful, respectful, and human. In those rare cases, it's not even an informational interview anymore. It's a generous, mutual conversation. 2 humans exchanging energy and ideas, not a transaction, a connection. A seed in a long-term garden network that has the potential to grow into a mutually beneficial relationship sapling. And that investment of both your golden moments sounds joyful and fierce to me.